What's going on, people, and welcome to another top 10. Been meaning to do this one for a while. Yesterday I did the transfer video. I was meant to do this video yesterday, but because I did the transfer video, this one had to wait. I've been waiting to do it for a while, as I said, and it is top 10 all-time Premier League strikers. Most fans' favourite position because they get a lot of the glory, the strikers. Obviously, they finish off the moves, and this was tough. I've done it before. I had a list I did a few months back, and I can't remember where I put it, and I lost it. So I redid the list, and I feel like I have got a few different names in there to the original one I did, which is always good. So let's get into it. At number 10, we got Carlos Tevez. Obviously, coming onto the scene at West Ham with Mascherano, he was fantastic for West Ham. Has a history of being a bad trainer, but when you can turn up on match days and do what he does, who cares? So Carlos Tevez, and then obviously going to United, winning multiple titles with them, and that combination of Ronaldo, Rooney and Tevez up top, one of the best ever. So, and the work rate off the ball, not only was he quality on the ball, but what you got off of him off the ball, unmatched a lot, and a very underrated player for me. Obviously going to City after, which was not great in how it planned out, but I still appreciate the time he had at United and at West Ham. So Carlos Tevez, number 10. Number 9, now this guy would have been a lot lower down in the list if he'd have had longer in the Premier League, and that is Suarez. Nearly got a move to Villa, I'm hearing, but Gerrard was trying to get him. It's a shame that didn't happen. And went to Barcelona after Liverpool and did fantastically as well. I think he's doing okay at Atletico Madrid. But them couple seasons he was at Liverpool, and that season he had where they nearly won the title, the form he was in, form-wise, in terms of this list, he's arguably number 1 in just one season of how he played. So it was hard to put him this high up. I wanted to put him lower down, but as I said, he wasn't in the league that long, and you could argue that he should even be above Tevez in terms of just how long he was here in the league and not being here long enough, but he was quality, so I couldn't have him at 10th, so I had to fit him in somewhere, and yeah, so if he'd have been here more and longer, he would have been lower down the list. But Luis Suarez, some of the goals he scored and how he influenced games, and Gerrard said after he retired that he's one of the best players easily that he's ever played with. So that says it all. And we've seen what he's done at other clubs and even for Uruguay. So Luis Suarez, quality player, and he's in at number 9. Number 8, there was 2 players I idolised growing up as a youngster, and that was David Beckham and Michael Owen. And it's Michael Owen at number 8. Came to United near the end of his career, but his time at Liverpool, and when he burst onto the scene as a youngster, I don't think many players have had an impact as a youngster, as an English kid coming onto the scene, and especially in that level. The goal he scored in '98 against Argentina, won a Ballon d'Or, got a move to Real Madrid. Like he's had a fantastic career, I think. Probably should have won a few more titles, to be honest, but one of my favourite players ever growing up. As I said, I wanted to be him, and he gets a lot of hate from his since he's retired, for especially going from leaving Liverpool and then ending up at United and stuff, and fell out with Shearer while he was at Newcastle, and there was a lot of people unhappy about a book that he put out and stuff like that. But I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of his punditry a lot of the time, but as a player, him and Beckham were my 2 that I wanted it to be when I was growing up, so has to make this list. Michael Owen, number 8. Number 7, Andy Cole. That 99 team, him and York, the partnership they had was fantastic. I actually preferred York as just an overall player to the 2 of them, but Cole was the better, more natural goal scorer, and I believe he's still 2nd all-time top scorer in the league, I believe, so that's not to go unnoticed. It was a problem even at Newcastle before United bought him. He's always shown his quality. Even when he went to Blackburn and Fulham, like, he was still scoring goals. Not at the rate he was at United, obviously, but still, I think he had a very good career. So he has to make this list. He was vital in that 99 squad. Andy Cole, number 7. At number 6, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Another one that I wanted to put lower down on the list, but some of the names that I'll be getting to in a minute, you understand why. He's sort of just above mid. I remember a few seasons it was him and Henry battling it out for top scorer in the league for multiple seasons. Loved them times. The matchups with Arsenal. But he was just, what a finisher he was. Your marksman. Do you know what I mean? He did things that you can't teach, really, I don't think. I remember when they tried to sign him originally at Eindhoven, and he had that injury, and then there was training footage of it where he injured and I think he broke his leg or his metatarsal or something. I remember him screaming in the video, and we eventually got him, and what a difference he made to our team. So, Ruud van Nistelrooy, quality striker, and one that I wish we would have had longer with, similar to Suarez with Liverpool. I wish United would have had longer with Nistelrooy, because the guy was a player. He really was. And as a finisher, one of the best I've ever seen. Van Nistelrooy, number 6. Number 5, Wayne Rooney. I've mentioned it in other videos before. I didn't really appreciate Rooney at the time when he was playing. I wasn't his biggest fan. Euro 2004, I believe it was. The age he was at and coming into that tournament with no fear, the confidence he had, the ability he had. Wow. As I said, I appreciate it more looking back now when I see highlights of him and like the technique and stories of other players that they've told of him in training and just what he could do. Doing a fantastic job in management at Derby right now as well, which I think he needs to get more credit for. But a fantastic player, and one that I wish I would have appreciated more. The amount of stuff he won with United as well, and different roles he had to play, and being unselfish with Ronaldo and all that stuff that happened at the World Cup with Ronaldo, and then they came back and they reignited the partnership and got on with it and were more better than before they left, and quality. So for me, Wayne Rooney has to make the list, and he's in at number 5. Number 4, Didier Drogba. In terms of clutch and clinch, he's one of the best ever, especially in cup finals for Chelsea. For a guy of his size, fantastic technique, very fast, good in the air, strong, maybe dived a little bit and went over too easily, but he made up for it in the goals he scored and the importance of the goals he scored, the influence in the team he had, the marksman like Van Nistelrooy was for United, he was that for Chelsea, and did it over a longer period as well. Obviously had a second stint at Chelsea and come back, and even at an older age was performing at a high level. I remember watching him at Marseille before Chelsea bought him. I think it was against Newcastle in the UEFA Cup. And I don't know if it was the final, but I remember he scored a couple goals, I think, and just ran them ragged. So Drogba, fantastic player, one that I miss watching, and he has to make this list. Drogba, number 4. Number 3, Sergio Aguero. Obviously, recently had to retire. In difficult circumstances, it was a sad one. Health condition. What he brought to the Premier League when he was at City, how long he was there, the consistency, season by season, the goals he scored, his stats. The man you'd go to when you need a goal. Obviously, he won them their first title against QPR in that famous last-minute winner that clinched them the title, off of United as well. You got to respect it, and the guy was phenomenal. One that I didn't really start giving credit to till probably a couple of years ago, because when I used to do team of the year and things like that, I'd never really put him in. But it was probably more because he was a City player and it was a bit biased. But looking at it now, like, you have to respect it, as I said. So Aguero, number 3. It's a shame it had to end how it did, but he still had a good amount of years and how he performed in the titles he won. Vital part to City, as I said. And without them, they wouldn't have won the titles they did. So, Aguero, number 3. Number 2, Alan Shearer. All-time top scorer in the Premier League. Great leader, great in the air, great technique, clever with his positioning, could play more than people realise. He was fantastic at Blackburn, won a title with them. Even at youth level, like, he was spoken about so highly and feared. But for England, he's one of them players that I wish we would have won something with, because he deserved it. Great leader, as I said, and demanded a certain standard and level that he would lead by example with. So for me, the type of goals he scored as well, like, varied, different variation, outside the box, inside the box, headers, left and right foot, volleys, could hold the ball up, could bring people into play. Great player, Alan Shearer, one of the best ever number 9s for England. arguably the best ever. So he has to make this list. Could easily be number 1 as well. But Alan Shearer, number 2. His stats speak for themselves, and what a legend. Number 1, Thierry Henry. Yes, he was a rival for United. I wish we would have had him, because how he used to play for Arsenal was like watching a video game. He glided across the pitch, did skills, and the technique he had at high speed was ridiculous. The strength he had. He wasn't great at headers, that would be one of the criticism I had, but he didn't need to be, because he could go and beat most of the team in a move and score a goal. The technique he had, the kind of, not straight away at Arsenal, it took him a little bit of time, but after a few seasons, then the Invincibles and that, he brought in the fashion of like the high socks over the knees. Everyone's doing that now, but he was one of the first that I ever remember to do it. Just that swagger he had about him, the confidence, that free kick he scored, and then he panned to the side and was like, is that good enough? And getting them to a Champions League final pretty much, even though they lost. Just what a player, and one that I miss the most watching in the Premier League, especially in that Invincible season. Just even though they were rivals, I admired him a lot, and one that I wish United could have. So arguably the best ever in the Premier League. He is for me, certainly, not just striker but player, and one that I wish United could have had. And yeah, what a player. Won multiple things with France, and he won a few things with Arsenal. Probably should have won a bit more with Arsenal, but went an unbeaten season as well with the Invincibles. And just the influence he had on the team, and style of play he brought that I don't think any players were doing at that point until he did it. We see more of it now, but I still don't think we see it to that level he did with a lot of players. And considering he's been retired for a long time, I think that speaks volumes. So, deserved number 1 spot for me on my list, Thierry Henry. So that is my top 10 all-time Premier League strikers. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. And yeah, I'll be back soon with another video. The target is 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. I appreciate everyone's support. Keep liking the videos and sharing them. Join me on the journey. As I said, I'm nearly 100 left to go. So we're getting there, but I need your continued support. Hope you enjoy the football, and I'll speak to you guys soon.